This was a spa and aquarium so exclusive that only the richest people in the world could afford to enjoy it. The treatment looked simple enough. The doctor pinched a man's nose, told him to open his mouth, slipped on a condom-like cover, and shoved a tube down his throat. The man screamed, but the doctor ignored him and twisted open a valve. Tiny loaches slid down the tube and wriggled straight into his stomach. Once inside, they devoured every last bit of bacteria, cleansing the body completely. The loaches normally survived only about a decade in water, but inside the human body they could live for more than 3 centuries. That was the secret of the Alpine Retreat. Thanks to its special water, the elderly could extend their lives. The young felt a surge of energy, and even cancer seemed to vanish. No wonder billionaires from all over the world flocked there. But one day, a young outsider stumbled in. His name was Hart, a financial trader sent to bring his company's chairman back to work. The nurse, however, told him visiting hours were over. Frustrated, Hart stepped outside to call the office, only to realize there was no cell service at all. The wealthy here had long abandoned electronic devices. Hart planned to return the next day, but as he walked away, he noticed a beautiful figure standing on the castle wall, watching him leave. Moments later, as his car pulled out of the gates, disaster struck. A deer appeared out of nowhere and slammed into the vehicle. The impact was brutal, but the stag refused to die. It struggled to stand before collapsing beside the road. 3 days later, Hart woke up back inside the retreat. The director explained his thigh was broken and said he'd already arranged for medical leave from work. With a glance to the nurse, the director signaled her to hand Hart a glass of water. Hart drank it without a second thought. Only when he finished did he notice something moving along the rim, a freshly hatched larva. He wiped it off and crushed it between his fingers, barely giving it a second glance. As he wandered the halls, Hart came across a group of billionaires soaking in the water. At first, everything looked normal, until he noticed something strange. These massive, heavy men could hold their breath like fish for hours underwater. A nurse approached and asked Hart his name. He deliberately gave the chairman's instead. Sure enough, she said the chairman was in the steam room. Hart rushed there, but once inside he froze. Every chamber looked exactly the same, and the doors locked automatically behind him. Just as panic set in, a hidden passage opened. Inside, the same deer he thought had died was strolling casually as if nothing had happened. Following the passage, Hart finally found his boss, but the man refused to leave. He insisted he was sick and that only this place could cure him. Hart pleaded, but the chairman dove straight into the pool and stayed under for half an hour, far beyond any human limit. When he resurfaced, he reluctantly agreed to return, at least for now. Hart went to arrange a car, but a voice distracted him. Looking up toward the castle's highest tower, he saw a young woman feeding fish. She was the same figure he'd glimpsed earlier. Her name was Hannah. She had grown up inside the retreat and had never stepped beyond its walls. Startled when Hart spoke to her, she bolted. When Hart returned to the chairman's room, the man was gone. With no other choice, Hart confronted the director, demanding to know exactly where his boss had gone.